Welcome to another episode of the Way Up Podcast with your host, Geoff Knoll. Today we have an extraordinary guest joining us, Jeremy Sons. This guy truly embodies the spirit of living life to the fullest. Jeremy hails from the great state of Texas and is the founder of Webb's Party Services, a company dedicated to spread love, smiles, and creating unforgettable memories. But Jeremy's talents and passions don't stop there. He's also an Ironman, an ultra runner, a bodybuilder, and a fitness coach. His commitment to fitness and helping others reach their potential is nothing short of inspiring. Jeremy is also a generous giver and makes the most of every moment he has on earth, living his life with purpose. In today's episode, Jeremy shares his incredible journey from the challenges he faced to the triumphs that have brought him where he is today. I'm grateful that you tuned in to this episode with Jeremy Sons on the Way Up Podcast. Well, I am here with my friend Jeremy Sons. Thank you so much for joining me. We haven't met before this, other than you're an ultramarathon runner. You have a Spider-Man like party business that is so cool. I've been doing some reading on that, and that blows my mind that how that kind of came to be and how you started that. So I definitely want you to talk about that today. But thank you so much for coming on, Jeremy. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Happy to speak with you.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. So, Jeremy, I want you to just kind of tell your story a little bit about how you have gotten where you are in your life, what you are doing, and just get people familiar with who you are.
All right. Well, where do I start? Well, I'll tell you what. I will start and tell you just 6 months ago, I have never ran a distance more than maybe a mile or two in my entire life. And those were very few and far between. I have never rode a bicycle other than in elementary school, and I could not swim. And those are all facts. Those are not exaggerations. But then I decided I wanted to do hard stuff. I wanted to go outside of my comfort zone, and I wanted to do hard stuff. And I decided that, a marathon would be way out of my comfort zone. That would be probably the hardest thing I could do.
That's a challenge, man.
Yeah. I said, hey, let's just do it. And I said, how hard could it be? You just keep moving. And so I signed up for a marathon. And then shortly after, I seen there was never heard of a world I was not aware of, that there's something called ultra marathons. There's something further than a marathon. What, is crazy?
That's for the real crazy people.
That is, what is that about? And so I said, hey, if there's people out there doing that, I want to do that. I can do that. They don't have something that I don't have. They don't have a extra body part that I don't have, or an extra pair of lungs. God gave me the same stuff they gave anybody else. And so I signed up for an ultra marathon. And then again, before I even, done any of these races, I said, well, wow, there's Ironmans. And Ironman, I've always heard of an Ironman, but I never really knew the distances of the race. I just knew that wasn't something in my cards, since I wasn't a runner, I wasn't a biker, and I couldn't swim. So I never looked into it. And but then I did look into it, and I said, hey, well, let's sign up for one of those too. And so before I ever even ran a 5K, I signed up for a marathon, an ultra marathon, and an Ironman.
What's the time frame from when you signed up to the first race?
Well, I ended up from the time I started this process, I signed up. The first race was a 5K. I ended up signing up for a 5K, signing up for all of that all at the same time within a week or two period, probably a couple week period. And I ran the first 5K after the first run, starting to work out and run, was 3 months. And how I started the process of running, I literally, like I said, never ran, never did cardio. I was always a bodybuilder. It's not that I just came from the couch. I've always been working out. I've always been a bodybuilder, and
I can see that, by
I'll
the way. I can see that. You
have a little bit of muscle.
you look like
Yeah.
an Ironman for sure.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And so I've always trained in the gym and been a competitive bodybuilder and powerlifter at times. Um, but always heard, and I've been a fitness coach, but always heard and always read and kind of just what I thought I knew is if you want to hold muscle, make sure you don't do too much cardio because you're going to burn through all that, hard earned muscle. And
I was
so,
going to ask you about that because most bodybuilders they don't run long distances like that. And you do still
absolutely not.
carry a lot of muscle on your body. So is that something that you noticed when you get into running that you start shedding some of your muscle mass? Has that happened with you?
It hasn't. It hasn't. And I would have guessed and bet my bottom dollar that after running thousands of miles like I've already ran, I would have shed crazy amounts of muscle. And to be crazy honest, I have literally put on muscle during this process. And that is mind blowing to me. I mean, it really is, because I would have never guessed that. I would have thought that I would have shed it all. And I would guess, I'm not a scientist, but everything that I know is it's not a benefit to be muscular doing endurance races, because
No.
it uses more oxygen to move those same body parts. And so it's not necessarily a benefit. And so my goal is not to put on muscle, but my goal is also not to, be skin and bones either. So,
Right.
and so, yeah. And so that's what I've always known. And so that's why I never ran. And so the first day coming out of the blocks, not doing anything, I said, I'm going to run 7 miles. And so I just took off and there was a 7 mile run that from my house that I was going to run 3.5 and then 3.5 back. And I was going to do it as fast as I could do it. And I got about 3.5 miles and I had to walk some and then run some and then walk some. And then the next day I ran 8 miles. And the next day, or a couple days later, I ran 9 miles. And then within a 2-week period from the day one, I said, I want to see what it feels like to run 20 miles. So I ran 20 miles and had to call my wife and said, if you don't hear from me in the next couple hours, call an ambulance. I'm dropping a pin right now. She's like, what? So I probably didn't start off the right way.
I think the running coaches I know might frown on your training
They
method.
would. I've talked to a few.
I think they would
said,
have
what are you doing?
some words about that. That being said, you're not dead. You're still here. And
I'm still moving.
And you have since then run an ultramarathon. You've run a marathon.
Yes, sir.
You've done an Ironman.
Yes, sir. I've ran that 5K. A couple weeks later, I ran a marathon. And a couple weeks after that, I ran my second marathon and my third marathon shortly after that. This year so far, since January 1st, was my third marathon. And then I ran my first, second, and third ultra marathon within a 9-day period. And so that
Holy
was
crap.
Yeah.
The Way Up podcast is proudly brought to you by my real estate team, the Noble Team eXp Realty. We're redefining industry standards in the markets we operate. Distinguishing ourselves from the crowd, we leverage our uniqueness to gain a strategic edge, all while elevating not only ourselves, but also those in our world, including our competitors. Join us on this journey of innovation and excellence. Your time and investment will undoubtedly be well placed. Hang with us till the end. I know you won't be disappointed.
The first marathon was a 50K. Cowtown ultramarathon, and then I ran a 50K trail race ultramarathon in that same week, and then I ran 44 miles for my 44th birthday. Um,
Happy
just two
birthday.
days later after that. Thank you
Happy
very much.
44th birthday.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't 99 because I was gonna plan on running 99. But yeah, I just said, hey man, I can do it. Might as well do everything you can do while you can do it. And so I just started in that morning of my birthday when the sun came up, and had a trail that I was gonna run the side of the highway for 44 miles, and took me 10 and a half hours, and had my wife pick me up with some Gatorade and some muffins. And and so
Thank you, wife.
yeah, yeah, she's
That's
she's
good.
she's she's my secret weapon.
That's awesome. So you are doing all of this very hard stuff, physical activity. You also, during COVID, you started a business as the Denton Spider Man. You live in around Denton, Texas. I'm assuming your business is
Yes,
there.
sir.
Okay. So I want you to talk about that business a little bit and how that started. I read something. I don't even know if I found it social media or the website. I think I found it on the Denton Spider-Man website, but that's a super inspiring story too. You have a lot of depth to you. I don't know. I'm sure we want to get into before all of this.
Sure.
Who is Jeremy Sons prior to
Yeah.
the rock star that I'm looking at right now? But
Appreciate
how did this start up, the Spider-Man?
you. Okay. Well, it was most definitely not planned. It was never something, like the marathons and ultra marathons, wasn't something that was planned. It was in the lockdown of 2020. Businesses shut down, just the uncertainty, the craziness of what was happening. And I went to the grocery store one day. You go in, and everybody's kind of in their own little bubble, and nobody's laughing. You don't hear talking. It's just, it's kind of an eerie feeling thinking back on it. But on the way back from the grocery store, I called my wife and told her, I said, I have a great idea. I said, I'm going to wear my Spider-Man costume next time I go to Walmart to do my shopping. I said, it'll make everybody laugh, and, it'll cover my whole body, so I'll be safe. So she's like, huh? What are you?
Did you make it on the People of Walmart website?
I made it. It kind of went viral-ish. There was a lot of photographs.
Nice.
But I had the Spider-Man costume because a couple years prior for my daughter's birthday, we all dressed up as she's Spider Girl and Spider Man, and my wife Spider Woman, and we all went out to eat dressed up like that. The year before, we all did Superman. So
Nice.
so I had it, a Spider Man costume. So I put it on and did my shopping, and everybody was just taking pictures and smiling, and it was just pretty neat. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep wearing this during this time. And I would stand out in front of grocery stores, holding a sign telling people to have a good day, to smile, just to make people laugh and smile. And we weren't getting paid for this. This was just something that we were doing because it just felt like, a right thing to do something positive during that time. And shortly after we started doing that, a father came up to me and said that their child, 4 or 5 year old child, little boy, was having his birthday, and they couldn't have a party because of COVID. Both parents lost their job or got laid off because of COVID, and just wanted to know if I would, Spider-Man would show up at their apartment just to wave at him in the parking lot, to say hi for his birthday, and how much would I charge if I would do that. And so I spoke to my wife, and I'm just like, yeah, we'll do that. And I said, Spider-Man will be there and we won't charge you anything. What kind of person would be trying to make a profit on people during, kicking people while they're down, more or less. And so even though we didn't have, really any money, we're in the same boat as everybody else, a lot of people anyways. Um, we just showed up, and I had a poster board that my wife, wrote happy birthday on. And we downloaded the Spider-Man theme music and showed up in the parking lot. And he came out in his little Spider-Man costume, and man, he was smiling ear to ear and just so excited that Spider-Man was there at his apartment in the parking lot to say happy birthday to him on his birthday.
That's a
It
cool
was just
birthday. That's a super
it
cool
was
birthday
it was
when you're
super
a little
cool,
kid.
and especially, you're a little kid, and during the COVID time, as a kid, you want your birthday, and wanted to be a big party, and we couldn't have parties during that time. So, and the kid's not going to understand. Oh, it's because of COVID. I'm doing the right thing. They're not. Hey, it's my birthday. I want something cool going on, and so we did that. And then a couple days later, someone else asked that they seen the video and they said, will Spider-Man show up at my kid's party, or to our house, or because we couldn't have parties, and how much would I charge? And I said, Spider-Man will be there and we won't charge you anything. And then another person asked, and another person asked, and another person asked. And believe it or not, for the next 2,200 parties, we said Spider-Man will be there and we won't charge you anything.
Holy crap.
2,200 parties. It took a little over 2 years. We just kept showing up, just kept saying yes, kept saying yes. And we're a part of just priceless memories, especially during the COVID times. And just priceless memories of children being um, just, I mean, a lot of happy stuff. But during this process, we started getting requests for children that are fighting battles,
Mhm.
children that have cancer and other life-threatening illnesses, that they just wanted Spider-Man to show up at their house, to encourage them, show up at the hospital to encourage them, to I had a parent uh, I had a parent uh, call me and just say our boy's not going to make it through the weekend.
Mhm.
Can you just make a video for him? Can we call you on video and just talk to him? These moments, I mean, they live deep in my heart, man.
Yeah.
They live deep in my heart, and uh, there's more than a few of them. There's more than a few. There's people out there dealing with things that we can't fathom. We think we have problems. We we don't. We don't. There's people that are dealing with a nightmare. They wake up to a nightmare. They go to sleep to a nightmare, and so Spider-Man, their parent can say certain things to a child, that their friends can say certain things. But when Spider-Man tells them they're awesome, Spider-Man tells them they're strong. When Spider-Man says, you're my best friend, they as a kid, they take that to heart. They're like,
Oh
man,
yeah.
I can do anything. Spider-Man believes in me. I see it. I see it all the time. And so, man, we've just been eh, we did this for 2 years of just showing up. We ended up turning it in to more of a party service business. We added a few things. Now we do everything from foam parties to bounce houses to cotton candies and face
Nice.
painting, balloon twisting, and we work a lot with an organization called Hope Kids. It's kind of like a Make a Wish
Yeah.
organization. They deal with get to work with children and families that are going through those times, and throw different events for them, and just help them create happy memories, and memories that are outside of the hospital and the treatments, and let them be a kid. And so we work closely with them and doing multiple events with Hope Kids throughout the year. And Hope Kids is what I'm running for. I have a fundraiser run for Hope Kids, and I'm just trying to raise, money for them, because all that money goes to, you know, these events where the parents don't have to pay for anything. They just show up and let the kids have fun. And I see that as just a priceless thing to be a part of.
That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
What are you doing for money all this time that you are going and showing up at all these parties and making memories that these little kids are going to remember forever? I was just thinking as you were talking of how young I was and the memories that I have at young ages. And I have not a whole lot before I was 5 years old that I actually still remember. But if Spider-Man was at my birthday party when I was a little kid, I feel like that's something I would still remember today. I'll turn
Right.
40. I'll turn 40
Yeah.
this year, but I would remember Spider-Man showing up at my party. That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Well, I tell you what, we make it as memorable as possible, because we have a Spidey mobile, what I call a Spidey mobile. We have a truck that's wrapped in this really cool graphics with Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and big speakers on the back that look like rocket blasters. And when we pull up to a party, we got the Spider-Man theme music playing out the rocket blaster speakers in the back. Spider-Man does not show up in the Spidey mobile. Spider-Man shows up riding on top of the
Surfing
Spidey
on
mobile,
top. Yes,
surfing on top,
I've
just like
seen it,
Teen
man.
Wolf back in the day. And
That's so
so
cool.
when the kid, they're waiting in the yard, and they look in the distance, and Spider-Man's just showing up surfing on top of the truck, not in the bed of the truck, but on the top, and then jumps out of the truck, and then webs them with silly string, and then it's just we make it as memorable as possible. And so during that time, to make money to keep this all moving, because we're definitely not rich, me and my wife. My wife's a elementary school teacher at
Okay.
a very small school. And during this, we funded everything through donations, generosity of people, letting people pay what they wanted, to donate what they wanted. And we just rolled it all up into keeping this moving forward.
Yeah.
And so, and it wasn't one person, it wasn't two people, it was thousands of people that were all a part of this, that drove this. So I was just um, a small part of the big picture, because this was a crowd funded, everybody was a part of it, to keep this moving. And the same way when the school shooting happened at Uvalde, Texas, a couple years back, I just knew that I should go down there. Spider-Man should go down there. And so I made a post a couple days after it happened. I said, "Hey, here in a couple weeks, in like 2 weeks, um, Spider-Man is going to go to Uvalde, Texas, and just drive up and down the streets in the Spidey mobile, and just give gifts to every kid that we see, um, and um, and from that post, people started saying, "How can we help? What can we do? How can we make this more awesome?" It ended up turning into the county of Uvalde's librarian saying, "Hey, we would like to donate the library and the facility to have this event, have an event at our location." Um, every news station picked it up. We went down there with a semi full of toys. I mean, just tens of
Wow.
thousands of dollars worth of toys. The Fort Worth police came down there, brought their stage down there to DJ it, and it was just turned into a full blown event where We had probably 200 feet of tables, if not more, that was just solid full of toys. And the kids we didn't just say, hey, here's a toy. We gave them a huge plastic bag, a huge, I mean, like a leaf bag. And you got to go down buffet style down the tables and just get all the toys you wanted. We got to the end. We started running low on toys after a semi completely full of toys. Some of my volunteers went to Walmart, bought an entire toy aisle,
Oh my
entire
goodness.
toy aisle, and came back with the entire bed of their truck tip top full of just toys, just toys. And Spider-Man just stood in the back, just throwing toys out into the crowd. It was just unbelievable. And the parents coming up to you crying, saying this is the first time they've seen their kid smile since that day. You know,
Mm.
that was a tragic moment. And to be a part of something that started to bring happiness back into that community, it's one of the highlights of my life. And all it took was, it wasn't me. It was just saying, hey, I feel I should do something. Well, what can I do? I'm just going to go there. And then just being obedient to something that I believe God laid on my heart. It turned into just a huge thing,
Do
huge
you
thing.
do you well up with pride knowing that just a decision you made to wear a Spider-Man costume to Walmart has turned into something that has impacted so many people and just brought positive change into the world? That was just a little thing that I believe was no coincidence that you were thinking, you know what? I'm gonna wear a Spider-Man costume. This might be silly, it might get a couple of laughs, but you've taken this little thought of randomness and turned it into a impact. That's so crazy, man. That blows my mind.
Well, I don't, I believe that it, that though I did that, if the people that seen me that first day, if those people that seen Spider-Man, that seen me at the grocery store, if they would have thrown negative at me, I would have been, oh, well, I don't want to do that no more. So it
Right.
has more to do with the people that seen me. So, I think um, it's more on them that, because every time we leave the house, we are influencing people.
Yeah.
And so those people that first see me, they could have influenced me to go one way or the other. And same way when when you go out today, you're influencing people in a positive or negative way. And so I just hopefully that you can just put more positive stuff out there, because I just that's my main goal. And I give this analogy a lot that, you know, we could be driving and someone pulls out in front of us, and maybe we get upset and we flip them off, and we think that transaction is done with, that okay, we upset them, and we drove off, and that's that. But what if that person that we just upset by flipping them off, they go home and now they're nasty to their wife, and then the wife is nasty to the child, and the next day the child's upset because of the dad, and they go to school and now they're a bully to a kid, and now that kid goes and does something. You started a chain reaction by something that you thought was just you and him. Now you started a chain reaction that no telling how far that can reach. But in
Mm.
that same way, the positive works the same way. If you see someone, you smile at them, shake their hand, hey, looking good today, keep it up. You think that's just you and him, or you and her, and that transaction is done. But no, you started a chain reaction that that person's going to go home, they're going to be extra nice to their husband or wife because you put them in a good mood, and the husband or wife is going to, to the son, to the daughter, and they go to school. It's just, you don't know how far your impact is. A lot of us don't give ourselves enough credit uh, to how impactful we can be. We're like, who am I? Who am I? But because we don't see the impact that we have. Because as those dominoes fall, uh, from you being nice or ugly to someone, you only see that one domino that that you spoke to. But so I just have a belief that we can do we can make a difference, you know.
Absolutely, we can. Absolutely, we can. And I am just absolutely in love with what you're doing. That is so phenomenal that you're touching and helping these people through that time. That's so cool, man. Um, I like to ask people, everybody that comes on the show, what is something that you can identify that positioned you to be successful in your life?
Well, I I have this feeling that I want to be the first place version of myself. And what that means to me is it's not that I want to be better than anyone. It just means that maybe one day when I die and I meet God and he shows me, well, you could have, you did great or you did okay, but you could have been this. I want to be the closest to the first place version of myself as I can be. How do I reach that? You got to keep pushing. You got to keep going for more. And I don't, if you ever feel that you've reached it, you haven't,
Right.
because once you reach the top, well, then it only goes downhill from there. You got to keep moving forward. And once you climb Mount Everest, you got to find a new mountain to climb that's even higher.
Yeah.
And because each day we're getting a little bit better or a little bit worse. And very seldom we stay this exact same. And we're not going to notice that little tiny bit better. And we're not going to notice that little bit tiny bit worse. But over time, it does build up into a big old mountain of negativity or a big old mountain of positivity. And so that's my whole deal on just wanting to put good out into the world and strive to be a better person. And what I thought was great today, that's just a new it's just a maybe not it's just that I just want to keep moving forward. That's the whole deal.
Absolutely, man. I believe God created us as expansive beings. We continually have opportunity. Every day that we wake up, we have a new opportunity to reach our goals and our dreams and figure out who we were created to be. How can I
Absolutely.
get closer to that person? I feel like you and I align very similar in what we believe. And I know you don't know me well, but I do want to stay connected with you.
Yes, sir.
I want to follow your journey, and I want to encourage you to keep putting good out into the world. You are changing people's lives and perspectives, even if it is starting with a smile or raising money for kids that are going through challenges in their lives. I strongly encourage you to keep that up. I see you. You are doing some incredible things, and very very happy that you came across my news feed in social media. That's how I found you.
Yeah.
I saw this just talking about how you had started you hadn't been a runner and you scheduled all of these things. You're like, well, I can do that. Why could I
Yeah.
not do that? What am I not capable of? Let's find out. And
Let's
you know
find out.
what? It's totally okay if one of these you come up and you fall flat on your face. You've put everything into it. You have
So,
you have put in the effort, you've done the work, and I think you're going to see a great return on the investment of your time. And I pray that you have a good investment for all of that, good return. So, Jeremy,
thank you, sir.
I thank you so much. If you have a final thought, I'm going to look and see real quick. We just have a few minutes on that. I have free Zoom, so 40 minutes,
No,
it's a hard stop, but we have a few minutes left. Do you have any final thoughts for my listeners, and how can people find you?
Well, all my Facebooks and Instagrams and all that is all Jeremy Rock Sons, JeremyRockSons. Yeah, man, I just want to encourage everyone to do more, to believe more, that you are awesome. God made us all awesome. He didn't just make this guy or this girl awesome. He made us all awesome. So just go out and do awesome stuff.
Yeah.
You might surprise yourself on what you're capable of, because I promise you, you and I and all of us are more capable than what we can believe.
That's 100% true. I believe that, and I echo that too, man. 100%. So
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jeremy, for coming on the show. I really appreciate you. And let's stay in touch, brother.
You got it, man.
All right.
Yeah, boy.